reckon he put any power aids out. He's making
it's blank paper.
Yeah, I think there's any there.
Hmm.
At least they should be in date, unlike that one Freeze necked a year ago.
Adam, the team was booed off by some parts of the crowd at half time and then roared off at full time. How can you summarise that game and the feelings and the result?
Do you want me to answer the booing part or the...
Or whatever.
It's disappointing. Yeah, it's really disappointing to people to even, I know the scoreline's not what they want, but to boo the effort that went into that first half from a really young team. The people that booed don't know anything about rugby league. They're probably the ones that cheered at the end too. That disappoints me that they do that, because although the first half we defended our hearts out. You've got to remember there's a really, really young footy team there against a very good opposition, and you saw what they did last week to a pretty full-strength Brisbane team. So they've got some dangerous players there. So our guys, I thought were excellent in the first half, and we made a few errors leading into half-time, which you know, gassed us a little bit, which led to the last try. I thought we could have been going into the sheds at 12-0 down, but tremendous effort in the second half. I think we only made the 2 errors, and there was plenty of ball movement. And you know, again with the first half, I know with the booing and that, I know people are disappointed with us, but trying their backsides off. We don't have a front rower available like a play 1 or a play 2 front rower, and to lose Frizz straight away, booing's a bit harsh.
Given that, then you're so low on troops and you're down 16-0. Where does that rate in terms of wins?
It's up there with one of the best wins I've been involved in here. You know, to have those kids out there, you know, I know there's only the one debutant tonight, but there's guys there with less than 5 or 6 games. There's a heap of them. And, you know, Jermaine and Elijah, they're playing SG ball last year. It was... Yeah, I'm a bit hurt by the booing. I get, you know, we don't want to let anyone down, and people can... I didn't think I'd see that, you know. I've seen bigger losses here over the years, and I'm not sure that they're booed, but anyway.
What about for you, Callum? I know it's only one win, but yeah, where does that rank for you in terms of the games you've played here?
I think if you take everything into consideration, yeah, like young squad, debutant, fair bit of fight in that second half, and just a fair bit of belief and trust in our processes. We tweaked a couple of things after half time that obviously worked, but yeah, I mean, for a younger squad and the boys that were playing, it's been a tough season. They probably haven't felt this feeling too much, so it's nice for them, you know.
How proud are you of those young guys, I mean, as captain?
Yeah, definitely. I see the work they put in. Like I said, there's been some tough lessons this year, but, you know, it's good for them to feel this feeling. You know, footy is fun and it is joyful at times, but again, I see how hard they work, you know, and so we've got to just keep working hard, you know, keep our heads down and keep working hard.
When did you feel that the tide had turned in that second half? Was there a moment or one of the tries in particular that the momentum had swung and you actually believed you guys could get back and win it?
I felt like not the whole half, but I didn't feel we were under as much pressure in that second half. I know the first half we defended a fair bit, maybe because of due to errors and where we turned the ball over, but just felt like in the second half we were in the game a lot more, and we stuck to our processes, and you know, with a bit of, you know, Gags had a good game. Yeah, with a bit of flair we ended up getting over them.
And James Schiller must be a pretty mentally tough sort of bloke to sort of come back from those errors that he made and come up with those big plays in the second half. Yeah, I was a little bit worried that he was looking at the ground a little bit, and half time we sort of prepped him up. We made a change, we switched sides and got some early ball out there to Gags, which, you know, brought Schill into the game. He came up with a great try there in the corner. So, but that's he's been giving us some moments in games there where it just looks like nothing's happening and he just busts out of a tackle. He's
But yeah, he should be really proud of himself too. Like, footy's not always going to be perfect, and you're going to have days like, you come up with a couple of errors, but it's how we respond, and that's all we've spoken about, is how we respond after last week, how we handle this adversity. This is probably the hardest time that I've been involved in the club in terms of injuries and suspensions. Like, it's hard, but how we react, how we respond, how we, a bit like Jimmy there, how he reacts and responds, that'll see us through. So it's a good lesson for him and us.
Good to see, obviously, Frizz on the bench watching the rest of the game after that pretty serious head knock. How's he kind of, assuming you've only had a brief conversation with him, but how's he shaping up?
Yeah, I checked him at half time and he was good. He was a little bit distraught, thinking that he'd let us down with the interchanges. He knew that it was going to put a lot of stress on the minutes and that, but he can't help the HIA. So he's in good spirits in there now. He's up and about, and he's happy for the boys to get the win.
And some of the other players, obviously, once he exited the field, obviously Phoenix getting more involved in sort of defence, and Jack Cogger had a massive night kind of going toe-to-toe with Oluwatu, which the size of difference of them is amazing enough. What can you say about their efforts?
But the tackle that Cog's come up with is sensational. It's a big moment in the game. But a lot of that ball movement that we're talking about in the second half, Jack played a big part in that. I thought he was great. The spine really stood up. The halves, Caleb was in everything, and then you're putting Phoenix in amongst all of that. I thought they were great, but yeah, special mention there. He's definitely fighting out of his weight class, isn't he, when he's coming up against him? But mate, tremendous tackle on the try line. Yeah.
Can you talk us through the play with Fletcher at the end that created the winning try? Was that something you threw up out of the blue, or was it something you planned and work on at training?
I did actually. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. I sort of shanked it. But he's a pretty athletic kid. I know he's only had a couple of games in the NRL, but he's pretty handy in the air, and he just competes on everything. I think, like a lot of the young boys, they've got talent and they just compete. So we'll take it. We'll go a little bit lucky.
Just on that, Adam, you've switched him. He's the other part of that half-time switch you've made. He's gone to left centre and come up with a try and essentially try assist as well. So bad effort by Fletcher at 19.
Exactly. We know that he goes and competes on the high ball, so we've really pushed that recently. We haven't done it a lot in the past, but he's a competitor. I think someone wrote, I don't know who it was during the week, you have a good game and he comes up with about 4 or 5 errors, but it's always going after the game. That's what we love about him. And I don't mind, young blokes are going to make blues from time to time, but if it's having a go, then, which is all he is. So if anyone's going to pluck, well, his words, not mine, a shanked kick and make something of it, it was going to be Fletcher Hunt. Or his sidekick Fletcher Sharp. He's pretty good at that stuff too.
Thanks, folks.